Hello and welcome to the Virtual Groom Room. My name is Jack, your host, and today I'm not bringing you a shaving video. I'm bringing you something a little bit different. I recently released my 5 top blades video, and it actually went down pretty well. So I've been trying to think of a similar video that I could do, you know, in the similar aspect of wet shaving, and I've come up with one. And as you can see by the title of this video, these are my top 5 scents. My top 5 scents being things that I like at the moment. I might find something in the next 2 or 3 weeks that I like even more, but as it stands, these are my top 5. My preference of scents, I guess, has changed quite a lot over time. When I first got into this, I would say my preference in scent really lied with things that are quite citrusy, things that were easy to smell. There were no particularly dirty notes that could be kind of difficult to palate, but over time, I think my preference in scent has changed, and I think I can explain with the top 5 scents here. There's no particular order here. I'm just going to give 5 scents that I really enjoy. Different aspects to the soaps that I like as well, based on the soap base and the soap formulation. Let's get going, shall we? So I'm going to start with this one. This one is of no secret to you. I think I've used this a couple of times on the channel. And this is Nobalata, the Noir et Vanille. Aside from it being a fantastic soap base by Nobalata, this scent just blows me away every single time I use it. I've seen a lot of people's kind of take on this scent, and they say they get quite a lot of the strawberry, quite a lot of the vanilla. What I get more than anything, being English, is tea. I get quite a lot of tea from this. The biggest things I get from this are tea, jasmine, and a little bit of strawberry. The bergamot, which is supposed to be the base note or the top note, is there, but it's muted. And to be honest, I love like sweeter tea scents. Not particularly a fan of the smell of sweet tea, but it's more complex than that. You know, there's a nice depth from the bergamot. Ultimately, the tea forward scent is there, and the strawberry adds this quite, I guess, tart sweetness to finish. It's a beautiful scent. I suggest you try it. The soap base in general for me is one of the most consistent soap bases. It's very easy to use, very easy to lather. It can be pretty thirsty when it wants to be, I guess. All I would really recommend is load heavy, use quite a bit of water. Look for that kind of sheen on your face, and you'll be in with a good chance. My next one is, regardless of their business practices, we all know what's happened, and if you don't, I'm not going to explain. Look up somewhere else. This scent is lovely to me. I really, really enjoy it. This is Bombora by Australian Private Reserve. The way I would describe this scent straight up, it's a citrusy aquatic, but it's got this really dirty ambergris smell. It makes me think, imagine like being on like a tropical island by the side of a beach with like it sounds stupid, but like a coconut or something in your hand. You're walking along the shore, you're smelling this, it just smells so good. The scent strength on this for me is perfect as well. It's probably about an 8. I prefer something with a stronger scent strength, like probably most of you do. If I like the scent, I want it to be prominent, and this definitely falls within that. You get quite a lot of the sea. The ozone is definitely there. However, ozone smells watery, ambergrisy, just a wonderful scent. As far as the soap base goes, the pour is kind of weird, as you can see here. I actually haven't used too much of this, but the pour is fairly uneven. Kind of adding to the whole artisan effect of the soap. It's fairly easy to work with, kind of a bit easier to work with than Nobalata that I had previously shown you. I would say you don't need to load this soap for very long. In fact, load it just an average amount of time. My rule of thumb generally is 30 seconds for synthetics and 45 seconds for natural hair brushes. And it tends to work pretty well with this soap. The soap in itself is of average thirst. You don't need to hydrate it too much to get like a good slick lather. Yeah, I really enjoy this. This is Bombora by Australian Private Reserve. One of my favorite scents in the industry for sure. My next one is something I've acquired new, newly acquired. I've not had it for too long. It's a scent that really appeals to me in the sense that it's not particularly clean. It's very interesting. This is Wetshaving, Cole's Pond. Now, the pond, that is really how it smells. It's like a mossy green pond. Like, imagine what I think of when I think of this scent is, imagine in the summertime your grandparents have this pond that they really look after. You go outside and you sit on a bench next to this pond and you just get this mossy, I wouldn't say dirty, I wouldn't go as far as saying dirty. It's actually quite a clean scent. It's the way I would describe it is oak moss, water. It's a very complex scent, but it's lovely. The scent strength again is there for me, about a 7 or an 8. It's quite prominent. When lathered, it remains that way as well. Yeah, the scent is just absolutely lovely. What I'm going to do with all of these is I'm going to put the scent notes and kind of interpretation of the scents below the scent notes. The description is going to be kind of big on this one, so prepare for that. Yeah, it's just absolutely wonderful. As far as the soap base goes for Wetshaving, for me, this is one of the best performers in the industry. One, it's easy to work with, easier than any of the 2 previous soap bases. It's incredibly slick, one of the slickest. I guess it provides kind of more of a low structure lather, like most of the top quality artisan soap bases do now. It's thick in its density, but it's low in its structure. That's the way I would describe. So yeah, Cole's Pond, Wetshaving. It's not easy to get anymore. If you can get a set pre-owned, I highly, highly recommend it. My next scent here, this is a cologne dupe, but it's a unique take on a cologne dupe. This is by the Club, and this is Pedro Fiasco. This is it just makes me smile every time I smell it. This is a duplication of Homage's Reflection Man, and I have to say, it is done so well. But what Peter Trucalis has done with this is he's taken the scent and he's given his own twist to it. I found that's kind of what he does with dupes. He doesn't try and replicate that scent perfectly. He'll say, okay, I like this scent, however, I kind of want to change it like this. It's absolutely remarkable. If you like the cologne, you're gonna like this, but accept the fact that it can be a little bit different. As far as scent notes, I cannot pick anything out. It's a well-blended cologne dupe scent. Absolutely fantastic. I really, really enjoy it. The soap base by the Club and Ariana and Evans, again, is one of the top tier soap bases. It utilizes a goat's milk and beef tallow base. And I have to say, again, it's one of the most consistent soap bases that I use on a regular basis. Load moderately, really, really thirsty soap. This is one of the thirstiest soaps I use consistently. When you think it has enough water, all I really recommend is add more. The more water it has, the slicker it becomes, and to a degree, the denser it becomes as well. So yeah, this is Pedro Fiasco by the Club. Fantastic, pick it up if you can. Last but very not least, this is a limited edition soap, and I had acquired this pre-owned recently. This is the sort of scent when I started Wetshaving that I actually really didn't like very much. And this might be difficult to get, but this is from Grooming Department. This is called New York Chypre. This is a Chypre scent, meaning that it's inspired by the island of Cyprus. It's a very unique take on that scent. And it's so complex in its makeup. It's floral, it's spicy, it's citrusy, it's everything you'd think of when you think of a Chypre. The scent strength again is on point at about maybe a 6 or a 7. And yeah, it's so difficult. I smell geranium, I smell flowers, I smell citrus, and I smell spice. This is one of my favorite scents. Like, if I had a top 3, this would be in it for sure. It's just so powerful. Once you start using this soap, like for example, I used this soap a couple days ago and it was on the kind of rack I like to dry my soaps. It fills the room. It's that powerful, it fills the room. I wish there was an aftershave made of this because I would have bought it for sure. Yeah, absolutely lovely. Again, I'll put the scent notes down there and I will compare with the scent notes exactly what I had. But to be honest, this is such a complex scent that it's difficult for me to pick certain aspects of it. As far as the soap base goes, I believe it's the Janus base. The Janus base is similar to the soap I've used on this channel before called Citric. And it's, for me, a fairly unique performer. You know, it's very, very slick. It's really low structure. Like when you're shaving with it, it doesn't produce this, like, it's not very dense, but it's very, very slick. Very good. Pretty damn easy to work with as well. Not as easy as the Talbot shaving base I showed you prior, but it is very easy. The way I would suggest using this soap base is just, you can load moderately, incrementally add water as you go. Some of the soap bases I mentioned, you can add water in higher amounts. With this, just incrementally add water. It can get to a point where it can be, I would say it can dissipate fairly easily if you overhydrate it. The hydration band on this soap isn't very, very big, but once you get it dialed in, it's one of the slickest and most consistent soap bases you'll use. Yeah, let's go over a recap of all the scents here then. So we've got the Noir Vanille by Nobalata, absolutely fantastic. Again, if I had a top 3, this would definitely be in it. We've got Bombora by Australian Private Reserve. I'm not sure how good the focus is here, but I hope it's working. Really nice scent, a citrusy, aquatic, quite dirty. I really enjoy it. Then number 3 is Cole's Pond by Talbot Shaving. I have to do that because my obnoxious lighting. Mossy, earthy, really pleasurable. Pedro Fiasco by The Club. This is one of my favorite scents. Again, if I had a top 3, it would probably be in it. Cologne dupe of Homage Reflection. I believe it's Reflection. I might be right. I have quite a few samples of their colognes and they all get kind of modeled up in my head. And last but not least, New York Chypre by Grooming Department. This is a wonderful scent. As I said, very floral, very spicy, quite citrusy, very unique, quite a complex scent. Those are my scents, guys, and my soap bases. I enjoy all of those soap bases. To be honest, I enjoy every aspect of every one of those soaps. What are yours, you know? What scents do you enjoy? What scents do you kind of find yourself gravitating towards? Have your scent choices changed over time of you doing this? I'd be very interested to hear. Start a conversation down below and I look forward to your comments. My name is Jack, your host from the Virtual Groom Room. Have a wonderful weekend. It's Friday night tonight. Goodbye for now.